Welcome to You're Cordially Invited, the show that brings you candid and informal interviews with some of the best wedding professionals in the Washington, D.C. metro area. We hope that you enjoy the show, and at the end, we hope that we have inspired you to take these individuals along on your next social affair. Welcome to You're Cordially Invited. Today we're at the estate of the Airlie Center, and this is going to be a two-part segment. First, we're going to talk about the food, then we're going to talk about the grounds and why you should come here to have your special events. So today we're going to start off with Mr. Jeffrey Witte. Witte.
That's correct.
Thank you. He is the executive chef here at the Airlie Center, and he's going to walk us through a day in the life of a chef here at the Airlie Center and talk to us about the meals that he served. And talking about meals, I actually have this lovely, lovely entree in front of me that I am going to be eating on, and he's going to explain to me what he has prepared for me today during this lunch segment. So, welcome. How are you?
Thank you for having me. We appreciate it.
Good. Before we get into the questions, kind of tell me here what you've prepared.
Okay. Well, what we have in front of me here is a quail egg appetizer. Okay. We have a goat cheese mousse, a little bit of pancetta,
okay,
and a local tomato jam. So that's for your first course.
Okay.
The entree in front of you is a locally raised, pastured pork chop. And we've served that with a white sweet potato and parsnip puree,
okay,
some broccolini, some carrots, and some local shiitake mushrooms.
All right. So locally raised, you all have your own farm here?
We don't actually raise any animals on property.
Okay.
We do have a 4-acre garden,
okay,
where we grow many organic vegetables, some fruits, a lot of flowers, a lot of items that we use daily in our kitchen.
Okay.
And we purchase from about just around 30 different farms, artisans, people in the immediately local area. So a lot of meats, fruits, veggies, jams, jellies, a lot of great items coming locally.
Wonderful. And just tell us a little bit about yourself, Jeffrey, as far as your professional background.
Well, I was born and raised in the Los Angeles area. I've been at Airlie now for 11 years. I attended the Cordon Bleu school in Pasadena, California. Worked at myriad of restaurants in LA, from Brazilian to French to Italian, you name it. Mm-hmm. So I gained an appreciation of food and lots of experience to go along with it. Found myself here at Airlie about 11 years ago, and here I am today doing the same thing.
So from the West Coast to the East Coast,
yep.
Which do you prefer better?
I don't know if I should say on camera. But
come on, it's the East Coast. We have more to offer here.
The East Coast is beautiful, especially Virginia. This is a great part of Virginia. Warrenton's beautiful. Fauquier County's beautiful. But I'm an LA boy, so
okay.
I love.
Have to go back home every now and then.
Yes.
Okay.
Got to stay sane.
And what makes the services of a chef here different from anywhere else?
I think there's a number of things, but first off, just the creativity that we bring. As a chef, one of the most important things, in my opinion, is being creative, being able to utilize great products that we're getting from the local vendors, and turn them into something special, something unique, something flavorful, colorful. It's got to have appeal from all different angles, and I think we do an absolutely wonderful job with that here.
Okay. So one is organic, and then one is local foods.
Yep.
Working
absolutely.
with the farmers here, trying to, keep the economy continuing to grow right here in Fauquier County.
Yeah, it's very important to support your local economy, and we put a great deal of our money back into the local community, and I think it's a great thing.
Okay. And as far as the experience that brides would have, I know that you cater to more than just brides here, but this, You're Cordially Invited focuses on special affairs and weddings. What type of experience would a bride receive as far as experiencing the food here at Airlie?
Well, first off, as I mentioned before, the creativity that we bring, the fact that we're growing vegetables on site. You see anything from Swiss chard to kale to potatoes and carrots and tomatoes and okra, green beans, and probably about 30 different types of herbs and flowers that are unique to Airlie, to this region of the world. And so that creates a special uniqueness that you can't find anywhere. And of course, myself as a chef have my own unique interpretation of those items and what we do with them here. We cater to different requests of all different sorts, from ethnic to dietary specific to just favorite items that brides want to see to have on their menu or have to have, and that's fun. That's fun to be able to cater to that playful side of it.
So you're able to personalize it for
very much so, absolutely,
for the client. Okay.
Yeah.
And then as far as like the tasting experience, is it similar to what we have here today?
The tasting experience is a little bit different from what we have here today. You might see something like the canapé that we have here in front of you as part of our local food project, which is part of our stations menus. We have a number of different menu packages that we offer. Stations involves meat carving stations, vegetable sides. We have our local food project station, which includes items from our garden, many items from local vendors that we create into little specialty items of our own. And that could be anything from pâtés to charcuterie to salads, canapes, fruit displays when fruit's in season, things of that nature. We also have some plated options and some buffet options as well. That the items may be in a different form, but a lot of the same ingredients are utilized. Okay.
And as far as the garden, is this maintained by you? Do you go out there and pick the vegetables?
Yeah, everything from start to finish. No, I'm kidding. If I only had time, I would. If I only had time. No, I'm very much involved with the process of the garden, from planning, what different types of varieties of things we're going to have, when they're going to be ready to be harvested. We'll have a few days out of the year where I'll take my staff up there and we'll pull weeds, plant seeds, water, whatever we need to do to keep the garden going. But we have a wonderful gardener up there. She does an outstanding job. She has a background in being a very, very, very talented florist. So she has a nice, she's added a nice eye appeal to the garden. Okay. But its main function is to serve as an example to the community of how you can grow sustainable foods, and really a viable example of something that actually works. It's more than just show. So, and you see that in the thousands of pounds of food that we get from them each year.
And it's also living a healthier lifestyle too,
Absolutely.
rather than getting processed foods.
Absolutely, yeah, very wholesome. Most all of the items that we have here are very straightforward. We have a quail egg. It's simply pan seared, a little salt and pepper. I think sometimes that's the best way to present things. So.
And as far as the styles of serving food, there's buffet, there's plated, stations. How do you determine, or how does that play a role in the events that you have here?
Well, I think that's really specific to what the client is looking for. I feel like a buffet, even though the food is still upscale, it's still creative, using local ingredients and all of that, it's a little bit more of a casual atmosphere, as everyone can come in, they can grab a drink, hang out, go to the buffet when it's their turn, and they can really just enjoy the company around them, as opposed to a plated meal, to where it might be a little more formal, I guess, if you will. So everyone would come down, and there would be a timeline and a service going. But the creativity and the quality of the food is top notch in all of them. It's consistent with all of the different options. The Stations Buffet is probably our most popular. Okay. And I think that has to do with the fact that people can kind of get up and they can mingle and walk around and fill up their plate at the same time. So there's a little bit of a social aspect involved with the stations.
And as a chef, what do you prefer?
What
makes life easier for you?
Well, they all have their uniqueness in preparation, but again, I really think it's whatever the client prefers. Myself, I think I would probably have to go with the stations as well, just because I enjoy that social aspect of it, and I don't want to be stuck, sitting at a head table as a bride and groom, and being bombarded by a lot of folks. I want to be able to get up and walk around and socialize a little bit and enjoy my wedding day.
Okay. And you hit on it a little bit earlier as far as like the culture, the types of food. Kind of go into that and kind of tell me some of the things that you have prepared that are not your traditional American meals.
Where should I start? I mean, nothing that we do here is really traditional, if you will. As you see the pork chop in front of you, I mean, pork chop is a very traditional kind of American, me growing up with some southern roots, greens and chops and, fried catfish and grits and stuff.
Do collard greens here?
We do, yeah. We actually
Wow.
have collard greens growing in the garden.
Okay.
A lot of greens. Greens are very healthy for you. They're a wonderful component to a lot of dishes. So we do have some items that you might consider comfort food-ish, but we have our own unique spin on them, and I feel that's part of our uniqueness is being able to be creative and transform an ordinary pork chop into something as you see in front of you. So a number of items. We like to utilize eggs in a number of different ways. Number one, because a lot of farmers in the area farm duck eggs, chicken eggs, quail eggs, so we have a little versatility there with each of the different styles. And the local meats as well. We buy local pork, beef, veal. A lot of the fish that we purchase is either fished locally or it's sustainably caught. So a number of items, and everything we do is very unique. So it would be hard to really define one. But as you can see the examples in front of you, this is a perfect example of some of the items you might see.
And speaking of examples, I want to taste this
Yeah,
while
please,
you
help
tell
yourself.
me about how do you deal with food allergies and what are the most common that you see here?
Food allergies really have come to light much more over the years, and some of the most common ones that we have these days are gluten, nuts, and soy. I would say would have to be the three big ones. They're not necessarily a food allergy, but there are some people who prefer to eat vegetarian or vegan. And we have quite a few requests almost every day. We are catering to those clients, and that's something that, again, we've been able to become very creative with, and we're not just slapping a piece of tofu on the plate with some veggies, So we like to think outside the box a little bit with that. But food allergies they're I would say they're challenging, but they're really not. I think they just they push the chef to be a bit more creative and think of outside the box and figure out, well, what other kinds of things can I use other than flour or nuts or anything like that.
Now, are you doing that for the entire meal, or can you do it maybe, say for instance, if it's the bride or if it's just the mom that may be allergic? Mm-hmm. Do you cater to just that, maybe fix a meal for that one person, or do you try to make sure that the entire course for everyone?
I guess yes would be the answer to that. Really, whatever the client prefers.
Okay.
We've done it both ways. There's been a few times where we might have a bride or a mother of the bride that might have an allergy, or the groom's family, and we can plate a specific meal for them so we know that 100% that they're fine. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, we also label our buffets. If we have a Stations buffet or a regular buffet dinner, we would label, dairy, soy, gluten, nuts, whatever it might be, on the actual buffet card. So there's no question as to what's exactly in this. So if there's multiple allergies in the group, or if somebody has maybe been burned one too many times by, there's no gluten, and then come to find out that there was, or seafood or anything of that nature, there's no questions, and they're well taken care of.
Okay. In 3 words, describe your food.
Creative, fresh, and local, and delicious. If I can throw a fourth one in there, if that's not breaking the rules.
I'm gonna taste this.
Yeah, all of our menus really start out with the farmers and with our garden, and they're the ones that inspire us, or at least myself as a chef, and us as a staff to be creative. And the things the pork chop in front of you, we bought a couple of pigs from a local farmer the other day, and we had the hacksaw out, and we're cutting it up, and I said, hey, this is a beautiful looking pork chop. We need to use this tomorrow.
Oops.
And that's what we've done. So
Okay.
The white sweet potato and parsnip puree on the bottom. Again, sweet potatoes are coming in from North Carolina these days, and it's a great quality product. And I thought it might be something that we could get a little creative with. So really, inspiration starts at the seed, and fortunately we have the opportunity to meet the farmers. We work with the farmers very closely. I speak with our farmers on a daily basis. I'm talking to one of them about something, and that I think really adds to the uniqueness and the specialty of what we do here.
This is really good. Really, really good.
Wonderful. I'm glad you
And
enjoy
I'm
it.
from North Carolina, so.
Okay, good.
You knew that, didn't you?
Yes, yes. I'm not going to admit it.
Kind of walk through the process as far as the tasting for the client. Do you come to the tasting to walk them through what it is that they're being served?
Yep. So a few times a year we have our wedding tastings, and we'll invite brides and grooms who either have already decided that they'd like to have their wedding at Airlie and they're just not 100% really on the menu or specific items, or some people who might be on the fence that really like Airlie but aren't really sure if this is the place for them. So we'll bring them in. I make myself available during that time to kind of MC the event, speak with them about the options that we have in front of them, talk a little bit about the different types of food preparations that we have for the weddings. Then, as everyone's enjoying their meals, I'll go by to each table and I'll talk to each couple individually, or mother of the bride or whoever's attending, and talk to them about specific requests, any concerns that they may have, or any specialty items that they maybe saw that day that they want to have on their menu, or maybe something they were thinking about that they want to include. So it's a very intimate, one-on-one, personal time for us to have with them, and I feel like it's very, very well received.
Okay. So for you being the person that's behind the scenes on the event day, this is your time to get intimate with the client.
Yes.
Do they see you at any other time besides that particular day?
That's really up to the client. Mm-hmm. There have been times where we've met, prior to the wedding, if it's, the day before. I followed up with many clients afterwards. I run into them in the garden at times, or I'll see them up at the pavilion or wherever they might be holding their wedding. And I might stop and briefly chat with them for a few moments. But I'm open to discussion anytime.
Okay. Do you like for people to change your menu? Just
our menus are designed and created to pair well with themselves. But at the same time, it's your wedding. So if you don't like what's on the plate or you don't like the options, well, that's my job to make sure that you're happy. And so if that involves changing the menus, then I'm all
You're
for
open,
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can work together on menus. I like, again, our menus I think are wonderful, but we're here for you. We're not here for me. So.
Okay. All right. And what inspires you as a chef?
Everything. Traveling, eating at different restaurants, just talking food with other people, meeting people in the food industry that are doing similar things, whether it be farm to table or whether it be just a new cooking technique or something, or cooking at home with my family. I enjoy spending time with my children and my wife, and we cook together when we have time. And sometimes some of that overflows into the kitchen if we might have discovered a great new combination or something that worked really well, and that kind of boils over. So really, I find inspiration everywhere, from our garden, our farmers, people, just everywhere.
Okay. And to wrap up our interview, tell me what makes Airlie so unique.
A number of different things. Our organic garden, our creative cuisine, our wonderful staff. We have an outstanding front of the house. We have an outstanding sales team that really knows how to get to the client in a very personable way, knows how to give them and communicate to the rest of our team exactly what everyone's looking for. The house is just a beautiful, beautiful house. The property is beautiful. The Piedmont area of Virginia is a beautiful area. Fauquier County and Warrenton is beautiful as well. So I think you can pick one, but I think I could go on for a long time.
A million reasons to love it.
Yeah.
A million reasons to love it.
Yes. Yeah, and I can't forget the wine and the beer. We serve a lot of local selections in that category as well. Yeah.
For any event to be festive.
Yes, very much so.
That.
Yeah. So we work closely with the winemakers and the vineyards, and we serve a lot of wonderful local beers as well. So.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Well, I thank you for your time today, and thank you for this fabulous meal, which I am going to continue to eat. And I would like to thank everyone for joining us for You're Cordially Invited, where you can come to the estate of the Airlie Center and meet Executive Chef Jeffrey Witte, and he will walk you through the lovely process of securing the right entree for your next affair. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you for part 2 of the Airlie Center.